Quantum Creators Exchange, where we are generating innovative realities. Our whole consensus reality is change. We must be diligent in focusing on the type of world we will create. We must get out of reactionary mode into creating solutions that are life-enhancing for ourselves, others, and this beautiful planet we inhabit. We came here for this purpose. We have been practicing, and now the curtain is drawn open, and it is time for all creators together. Welcome to Quantum Creators Exchange, where we are generating new and exciting realities. Well, our weekly question is from Hillary Gatehouse. And her question is it possible for anger to accumulate to the point where it becomes an entity magnet?
All right. Thank you, dear. I appreciate it. Hillary, thank you so much for the question. It's a great question. And I'm going to start by going to this book, which I am currently working on, The Mountain Is You. I'm working on this to turn it into a workshop around self-sabotage and some of the things that we do to sabotage our lives and our ability to manifest and the way we get in our own way of creating. Okay, so I'm just going to start with a little reading here from this because I found it a great explanation. And the subtitle is, in this paragraph, is Self-Sabotage Comes from Irrational Fear. Sometimes our most sabotaging behaviors are really the result of long-held and unexamined fears we have about the world and ourselves. Perhaps it is the idea that you are unintelligent, unattractive, or disliked. Perhaps it is the idea of losing a job, taking an elevator, or committing to a relationship. In other cases, it can be more abstract, such as the concept of someone is coming to get you, or violating your boundaries, or getting caught, or being wrongly accused. These beliefs become attachments over time. And that's kind of where your question is, Hillary. And I see this quite often. Remember, we are creators. We are part of the creator of all that is. And so we're creating all the time, whether we know it or not. We're creating all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not. And we are so powerful because we're connected directly to the creator. We are so powerful that when we're creating unconsciously, we can create things that are negative to our existence. Okay, so a little formula here is energy plus attention equals creation. So if you give enough energy and attention to anything, you can create it. And eventually what happens is you give it enough energy and attention, it can take on a spirit and a life force of its own. And then once it takes on a spirit and a life force of its own, it's an entity. For all intents and purposes, it's an entity. And so then that can reside in your field, right? And one of the best pieces of attention, or the most powerful pieces of attention, is adverse childhood experiences or anger that you've stored over time, or things that happened to you as a child, and you keep ruminating on that and keep going back to it. And then eventually the memory can even fade of that. And then this is just in the subconscious. That energy is locked in the subconscious, and it's going over and over and over. It's running over and over and over. And that's energy and attention, energy and attention. And then you create something out of that. And it's always not good. Okay. So that's how it works. Energy plus attention is the way we create. You have this in here, you can create it in the field. I want to zero in on one specific kind of entity that I see very, very often in people's fields. And this really leads to a lot of serious self-sabotage. And I'm going to read one of my manuals, one of the manuals that I was trained with. And pardon me while I read, but I find it so enlightening. I think you will too. Okay. And what this is called, it's called an evoked living sorcery, a living being of sorcery. Okay, that's what the name of it is. So again, you can be giving it energy. So now this entity is in here. And then since it's inside, it's especially insidious because you think something is out here. You think some entities can be out here, okay, external things, but this one is internal. So this would be the evoked living sorcery, a living being of sorcery that you've given attention to and created. And so here's how it impacts you. This evoked living sorcery is not just a process or programming. It confirms to be a living being of sorcery that is within the body-mind-field complex and the life of the affected individual. There can be many within and affecting the individual. They are physical etheric in their nature and construction. Okay, just as a side note, you have a physical body, the next layer out from that, because there's multiple layers in this field, but the next layer out is the etheric body, okay? And etheric is you can't touch it, and it's a higher vibrating mass, okay? So that's what this is. That's what this is, physical etheric. So it has a physical kind of connotation to it because it exists in the field, but it's still etheric because it's the next level out.